Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to Hearthstone. We're returning with our next series of pack openings. Now, since I recorded the last ones, which were a grand tournament, there's been a whole new expansion. It's known as Whispers of the Old Gods, a very Cthulhu themed expansion based on the Old One gods from World of Warcraft. So there's lots of tentacles, lots of eyes, lots of cultists, and as always of Hearthstone, lots of fun. So you actually get some free packs. You get 13 free packs just by playing Hearthstone, so definitely log in, make sure you've picked those up. I also bought the pre-purchased 50 packs, so needless to say, we've got a lot of cards to get through, and this should take us quite a bit of time. So, as you can see, we've got 63 of them. We've got some Goblins vs Gnomes ones that I'm just keeping back, and we've got some of the regular cards, which we'll get to one of these days. So, can't wait to get going on this. So let's grab our first pack. I love the 3D look of these. And drop it in. And it opens with a splurge of, well, Old One goo, I guess. Now this that you can see is the limited edition card back that you get for the pre-purchase of all the packs. So we'll start with the usual. We'll start at 12 o'clock, that's up here. We'll make our way around. Always go clockwise generally. We always open the uncommons, followed by the rares, epics, and if we're lucky we'll get a legendary. Maybe it'll be this one, maybe it'll be right at the very end. I'll go over each card as I turn it over and give you my opinions on it. Now, I'm not a pro Hearthstone player. I'm decidedly average at the game, maybe even below average. So it will take a bit of time for me, and it might take a few shots for me as I go through the cards to realise what works together. So let's touch the eyeball, which is rather gross, and see who our first one is. So this is the Grotesque Dragonhawk. It's a 7 mana minion, 5/5 with Wind Fury. So this is based on the normal Dragonhawk, which is 1 mana for 1/1 with Wind Fury as well. 7 mana for a 5/5 body. It's not really worth it. Your 7 mana, you're going to get cards that have an immediate impact on the game. Really, you're looking for either a solid body that can remain on the table, or you're looking for a battle cry or death rattle. This gets played on turn 7. It's almost guaranteed there's enough on the board to remove it, for a lot less mana as well. So overall, Grotesque Dragonhawk probably remain never used. So move on to our next card and turn this one over. So this is 2, a Light in the Darkness. It's a paladin card. So you discover a minion. So this is where you get a choice of 3 cards, or in this case 3 minions, and you get +1/+1 on that minion. So for example, if you were to discover a minion and it just so happened to be the Grotesque Dragonhawk, that would actually be a 6/6 for 7 mana. I'm not sure if it's worth it. It seems like you're paying just an extra 2 mana to get a card or a minion that might not be worth it. You know, you could get a load of rubbish. So I probably don't see this really getting played. You know, it's got limited use because of the RNG aspect of Discover that you might get an absolutely load of rubbish card. So So in our first pack here we have the epic, or a epic, which goes nicely with the very purple looking goo that's surrounding the card. Skip that, move on, and we get our uncommon. So, sorry, that was a rare card because blue is rare and grey or white is uncommon. So let's turn this over and let's have a look. So for a hooded acolyte, whenever a character is healed, give your Cthulhu +1/+1 wherever it is. So that's if it's either in your hand, in your deck, or just in your collection. Obviously if it's in your collection you can't parry it. So Cthulhu is a legendary. Everybody gets one when you start the new Hearthstone expansion, so you don't have to pay for it. I don't think you've got to pay for it, I'm not sure, but you get your, so I don't think you've got to buy cards, I think you get those in the free, so you get Cthulhu. Sorry, I'm rambling now. And it's a legendary minion that, if you build a deck around it, it will get more and more and more powerful, and it has quite a nasty battle cry which wipes out quite a lot. So this is quite good whenever a character is healed, so that could even be when your opponent heals a character, or you, or anything. You could even heal your opponent if you wanted to. That will solidly buff it. It's also a 4 mana for 3/6. That's a good solid body. It will trade against most things in that kind of area, thereabouts. So that's a nice card. I like that one. I could definitely see it being used in a Cthulhu priest deck. It's not worth it otherwise. If you've not run Cthulhu, probably better cards out there for 4 mana. So let's go to our rare card then, and we'll see what our first rare is. It's the Eater of Secrets. 4 mana for a 2/4. That's okay, obviously it's much less than this, but it'll survive a couple of hits. Battle cry, destroy all enemy secrets, gain +1/+1 for each. So it's a dead card unless there's a lot of secrets, such as a secret paladin deck, which isn't as popular as it once was. I think that very much depends on what the current meta, so that's, what is the current popular kind of top end decks are. I'm not sure secret decks are most popular at the moment. It might rotate back in, and if it does, certainly the Eater of Secrets is a solid card, especially when it actually destroys your enemy's secrets. So that would be really useful against freeze mages that tend to just try and delay things out. So for first pack, here we have our epic card. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get here. Unless this was a legendary, it probably couldn't have been any better way to start. So if you've got any thoughts, any ideas, maybe it's a hunter card or a warlock. I'm going to say a rogue card, just because I'm rubbish at rogues. So let's turn it over. It's a hunter. Call of the Wild. You summon all 3 of your animal companions. That's a really good card, I think. So you get a 4/4 taunt, a 2/4 which gives all your minions +1 attack, and a 4/2 charge, which would then be a 5/2 charge because of the Windrider up here. It is 8 mana, but you're getting a card that can immediately do 5 damage, plus a taunt, so that could be a good way to finish as well, because if you've got a few cards there, so that looks to be good for a control based deck and you're getting towards the end of the late game. So yeah, I like that card. I think it would be quite useful. It is expensive though at 8 mana, but depending on how you're playing, that could be worth it. So that was our first one. Let's open its squelch and see what we get in pack number 2. So the first card in pack number 2 is our guaranteed rare one, so we'll skip over that and go down to our uncommon. I'm just trying to see, do those eyes follow, or are they all just looking down that way? Yeah, I was wondering if it did follow us. So, wow, that's a big card. It's a 10 for 10/10. So, that's a fairly big card. But again, it's got a lot of survivability in having 10 health, and it's a good finisher at 10 damage, but it's wiping out all your mana, and it literally does nothing. So you're kind of sitting there thinking to yourself, is there something better I could do with 10 mana? If there is, then you're probably, it's worthless. If there isn't anything better, then you're probably in a bad place, or you're going to win anyway. So it's a good card just by numbers, but again, I really don't see that 10 mana being used for anything. So let's move on. So this was Stand Against Darkness, 5 mana, summon 5, 1/1 Silverhand Recruits. Suppose that works well with if you've got a way to buff them all. Otherwise you're kind of spending 5 mana, which is right in the middle, or towards the end, on just a bunch of 1/1 minions. You really need to be a way to, I think, buff these up. So potentially it could be used with Knife Juggler, and that will give you 5 pings, but or 5 knives. But I'm not sure. It does seem like there's just you're spending 5 mana and you're getting a bunch of little minions. For 4 mana you can get a free 5 taunt, and that's then wiped out. So really, it has to be played in combination or have a benefit afterwards, like the Silverhand Knight buffers, so to speak. So let's move on, and let's have a look here. It's 5 mana, Occult Apothecary. Battle Cry. For each enemy minion, restore 2 health to your hero. That's good against aggro decks. 5 mana, if you can kind of get to that point, you're going to be kind of healing yourself back up. Although, again, most classes, I guess, will only really be running 3, maybe 4 minions at most on the deck, or on the table at one point. And again, it's an almost dead card in your hand unless there's actually any minions out. If you're winning, it's not doing anything. It's solid. It probably replaces the 3/3 for 5 healbot, antique healbot. It's probably what your current one is. I suppose it's okay. I'm not going to say it's the best card in the world. It's a solid card. It's a solid body. It will trade up against, or trade most things, and you do get a Battle Cry. Battle Cries are great as it gives you instant effects. So move on to our next one, and we get the Duskboar. It's 2 mana for 4/1, which, if it lives, wonderful. It's probably not going to live though. That'd be only having 1 health. Almost anything can wreck it. So if you're playing it, you've really got to be able to have something to either defend it or otherwise a way to make it useful. There's no health really there to allow it to be damaged and charged. It is only 2 mana, so it could be worse. I suppose it would probably be good for aggro decks. Then maybe have something sitting at the 2 mana mark. But really, as I say, having that 1 health very, very, very much limits it to only very early game. Otherwise, it's going to get wrecked by anything. It's dead card really after about turn 3 or 4. So we're now on to our rare, and it is the Servant of Yogg Saron. That's the mage. Now, Yogg Saron, like Cthulhu, is one of the big legendaries in this expansion. So Battle Cry casts a random spell that costs 5 or less targets chosen randomly. Yeah, so that could end up being I'm trying to think of a 5 mana damage, but it could be anything. You know, it could be a frostbolt, for example, or a crackle ends up impacting yourself. So a 5/4 for 5, I don't think I would risk it. It seems a bit, especially unless you're on the under, so your enemy's got like 5 minions in themselves, and it's only you, 1 or 2 of your minions. Then odds are in your favour, but it could be a buff. You know, it's a bit of RNG just makes that, in my opinion, very risky to use. So like probably at the 5 mana mark, skip that one out, especially when you've got something like the Cult Apothecary, which you know is going to be helping you. So that's 2 packs down. Let's move on to pack number 3, which also starts with a rare. And we get, Stand Against Darkness again. So we've seen this for 5 or 5/1/1s. We won't dwell on it, and we'll just jump straight up. And we get Divine Strength for 1 mana. Give a minion +1/+2. That's actually quite solid. That should allow most minions to trade against. If you play a 1/1, for example, on turn 1, turn 2 you could buff it, use a coin or something on the same turn, and you've got a 2 free. So, well, maybe not. It's maybe worth it to try and avoid or try and allow minions to trade up. Difficult really to see, especially maybe with taunting minions. It's you're using a card to gain a little bit of a minion advantage, but whether or not it'll be worth it, where you could actually have to spend the extra mana to have, a card that's even better. We'll see, So let's the next one. Now let's have a look at Flame Reefed Faceless. 4 mana, 7/7 with Overload. So it's really a 6 mana for 7/7 with just delayed. That's actually quite good because the Ogre, the Boulderfist Ogre, is a 6/7 for 6 on that turn. So you're just delaying the mana cost, but you're getting him out 2 turns early. That looks to be a fairly solid card. I do like that one, especially for the Aggro Shaman. So I will definitely, if I get more of them, be including them in a deck. I do like that. I think that's probably the best card we've seen so far. Let's have a look. Now this is the Usher of Souls. Whenever a friendly minion dies, you give your Kithun +1/+1. It's 5 mana for 5/6. Solid body. But you don't really want your minions to be dying. If you're getting wiped out, then your opponent's already got the advantage, so you don't want things to give buffs if you're already being impacted. It could be useful. I'd probably not play it, being honest. At 5 mana, I'd rather have things that are going to have an immediate impact or no. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're on turn 9 and you play this and you wipe out a lot of your minions on purpose, in theory, and in turn 10 you could play Kithun, so it's a bit of a combo, but on its own, I'm not convinced. So, at the end of pack number 3, we've been going through these quite rapidly now. Let's see what we get. And we get an Ancient Shield Bearer with Battle Cry. If your Kithun has at least 10 attack, gain 10 armor. 7 mana for 6/6. That is quite good for control. So if you're a control warrior, which means that you basically just stall out the game and try to remove anything before having a final win condition. If you're building up to the win condition being Kithun, this is quite handy. I believe Kithun starts either 6/6 or 7/7 for 10 mana, and he will. You should be able to, by the time you get into turn 7, you should be able to get that solid body. It's a good card in my opinion. It's definitely a good card for a Cthulhu warrior. So Cthulhu actually has an ability where you battle cry, or whatever battle cry's got, and he will do damage to all enemies equal to his attack. So if he's got 10 attack, then he'll do 10 damage to, 10 times, so, well, not 10 damage, but 1 damage 10 times randomly. Pretty much wipes out most of your opponents. So was that? Pretty sure that was our, oh, this will be our 5th pack actually, I believe. So turn 1, 2, 3, the silver hand. Let's just start here. And we get our rare. I can't quite see, it's a bit blurry there, but let's turn this one over. An Amgam Rager, 3 mana, 1/5. It's pointless, but it's a hidden joke here. So for 3 mana, you get a 5/1 called Magma Rager. So this is the corrupted alternative. 3 mana, 1/5, an Amgam Rager. Obviously an acronym of Magma, or it's not even an acronym, it's just backwards. It's dreadful. It's never going to get used really, so on to the next card. And we get the Hooded Acolyte. Now we've seen the Hooded Acolyte before. 4 mana for a 3/6, and again buffs your Cthulhu. So we'll jump down and we see the Duskboar again. So we're already starting to get a couple of repeated cards, but let's not worry about that. So again, 2 for 4/1. I suppose the Amgam Rager would beat it with following turn. Oh, and we've got the Cult Apothecary again. We've seen that before. It's the purer cousin of the Antique Healbot. Potentially though, it could be better, but you are getting a better body on it. So again, I do like the Cult Apothecary. So with, I believe that will be our final card pack. Let's see what we get. Now, this is a Druid card, the Claxi Amber Weaver. Claxies are insects. Battle Cry. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, you gain +5 health. So it goes from, on its own, a solid 4/5 for 4. Again, a 4/5 for 4 is very good. It's a solid, it's the same as the Yeti. This actually has potential to actually go up to a 4/10. So a Claxi Amber Weaver, I think, it's a very good card. It should, if you're getting out on turn 10, I'm not saying you're going to be able to get your Cthulhu, but certainly on turn 4 or 5 or 4/10, certainly nothing to be sniffed at. So I think that's a really good card as well. So we had 63, 62, 61, 60. I can't even remember if we've done, that's terrible. 59. So we've got one more card to go. One more pack to go. So we'll start here, because we skipped, or maybe we'll start at the top. But we've kind of spoiled it. We know these 3 are normal ones. Let's start down here then. So, ooh, this is good. 3 mana for a 1/5. Remember the Amgam Rager was a 3 mana for 1/5. However, this actually gains +1 attack every time you summon a minion. This is very good for a zoo-based deck. Zoo decks tend to like buffing up their own minions to get value out of it, and this could rapidly get out of control. It also has the survivability of having 5 health. So you could easily place in turn 3, and if you've got 4 1-cost minions, turn 4 you're immediately hitting with a 4/5, and it's only going to get more powerful. So, free mana for 2/5. It's a direct little bit better, but it gives you a beast. Hunter. I can't really see if 2/5 being used for much at that point. Animal Companion, that's right, as a free mana spell which will give you a beast, so, and they're all pretty much better than the Carrion Grub. So the fact that it does nothing and it's just kind of a small body, although it is a survivable body, isn't giving me a huge amount of faith in it. It's a bit of a recurring theme I'm seeing. It looks like they're trying to slow down the game slightly. So instead of having, lots of 4/1s, 3/1s, 3/2s, 4/2s, etc., seeing quite a lot of, say, 1/5s, 2/5s, that sort of thing. So it looks like they're maybe trying to slow down the aggro game, so to speak. And I say that and get a 2/1 here. So for 2 mana, for 2/1, a Bilefin Tidehunter. So that's a Murloc, which is quite cool. Summons a 1/1 ooze with taunt. That's quite good, because one of the problems with the other Murloc that does 2 for 2/1 summons is that this is only 1 mana, so it's very 1 health rather, so it's very likely to get killed straight away. But taunt at least gets in the way first, so yeah, it's a direct upgrade. It's not a bad card really. You're getting basically a 3/2 body. Yep, so let's move on to our next one, which is a rare. And we'll go down and we get the Twilight Geomancer. This is a 2 mana, 1/4 taunt, which is actually quite decent for that level. I'll get rid of a couple of smaller minions, but it also gives Cthulhu taunt. So it's okay. Definitely for 2 mana you're going to be able to get rid of any kind of smaller minions. It's probably, I'm not sure if it's actually better here. Obviously if you're not running Cthulhu, I'd probably see you go for this. Depends, if you're running Murlocs, definitely this is going to be obviously be better as well, but on direct comparison, this would work well with the Darkshire Councilman because it's summoning 2 minions here, so interesting. But let's move on anyway and get our final card, which is the Shifting Shade. Death Rattle. Copy a card from your opponent's deck and add it to your hand. 4 mana for 4/3. So you're getting a card back even once it dies, which isn't bad. But at 4 mana it's still a bit pricey, especially when some 1 or 2 manas can wipe it out, and you never know, you might get something dreadful. It's not too bad. I'm not sure if I'd be using it or not. But overall, it's not been a bad haul. Definitely like the Darkshire Councilman, and we can see there's been a couple more. And I think it maybe opened 5 packs or 6 packs. I really can't remember. And needless to say, everybody, though, that was our first pack opening. It's been almost 30 full minutes of me rambling on. But the next ones will be a little bit quicker. But in the meantime, happy old god no worshipping. Take care, everybody, and have a great day now. And bye bye.